If that didn't explain it enough to you, today I'll be thoroughly explaining every Stormtrooper variant, and while the expanded universe has introduced hundreds of different types, today I'll just be analyzing the 14 most important Stormtrooper classes, while also looking at some of the troopers that came before and after, like TK Troopers, and also Thrawn's Zombie Night Troopers. Starting off with the iconic Stormtrooper, they had armor made up of white plastoid plates over a black body glove, and their armor was able to dissipate the effects of blaster bolts that were fired at them. Also, the stark white armor was meant to show a transition from the honor and defense of the clone troopers to the new order that was the Empire. The skull-like helmet shapes were meant to install fear in their enemies. Also, they used E11 blaster rifles and had knee plates which allowed them to take aim in kneeling position. The name Stormtroopers means that they came from the storm of galactic history, or essentially the turning point in galactic power, which they came out as the victors of. Sandtroopers, on the other hand, were a specialized unit that worked in desert environments, which is why they were also called Desert Troopers, and their helmets came equipped with cooling fans and a helmet sand filter, which according to TD7556 didn't work very well. Additionally, they wore a SD-48 survival pack and often used creatures like dewbacks to get around efficiently.
I do love sand. It's soft and smooth and pleasant, and it stays out of your armor.
Snowtroopers were the opposite of Sandtroopers in that they were used in extreme cold environments rather than extreme hot environments. They had insulated armor with unique helmets and a heated breather mask, which had battery packs that lasted up to 2 standard weeks. And standard simply means the basic real-world measurement that humans on Earth would use. Also, they came with ice boots, insulated belt commas, polarized snow goggles, grappling hooks, ion flares, and homing beacons. Scout troopers were used for reconnaissance, so when the military surveys the land to understand their position better, as well as the enemy position too, they had lighter armor and used the 74 SC speeder bike to maneuver across terrain quickly. They had helmets with retractable faceplates, survival rations on pouches on their belts, and power units backpacks for extra gear. Also, there was an EC-17 holdout blaster located on a pouch on their ankles. Death Troopers were elite soldiers who were used for stealth, espionage, and lethality with much higher kill numbers than their Stormtrooper counterparts. The Death Trooper helmets had advanced sensor and targeting systems, and they always came equipped with E11D blaster carbines and C25 fragmentation grenades, as well as pauldrons which denoted rank similar to Sandtroopers, except they appeared black and colorless to all who weren't looking through a Stormtrooper visor. Shore Troopers operated on coastal and tropical settings, making their use very sparse, as there weren't very many Imperial stations located at such areas. They had tan-colored armor with bands indicating their rank, red for standard troopers, squad leaders had sand blue stripes and a comma, shore trooper captains had fully blue breastplates, and also less upper leg armor for enhanced movements. The troopers used E11 blasters and E22 reciprocating double-barreled blaster rifle. Range troopers, on the other hand, had similar helmets to shore troopers and tank troopers, which is another variant worth mentioning, but they also had external fur and notably chest plates, which were comparable to Imperial Snowtrooper we went over earlier. They also had magnetic Kryptonian boots, which allowed for secure footing on fast-moving vehicles. They were the toughest of Palpatine's military and were mainly used for surveying and defending frontier planets, which were susceptible to rebel occupation. Mortar Troopers, also referred to as artillery stormtroopers, had basic stormtrooper armor with yellow paintings and explosive loaded backpacks. They maintained indirect fire weapons like the Model 201 mortar system, Dark Troopers were experimental troopers created as a part of the Galactic Empire's Dark Trooper program, with the Phase 2 Dark Troopers being a heavily armored suit worn by a human pilot, and they were used at the Battle of Tatooine, but the last weakness of the trooper was identified to be the human inside, so the Phase 3 Dark Troopers were droids. The third generation Dark Troopers were blaster resistant, heat resistant, and had rocket boosters and extreme strength. Incinerator Troopers had the same armor as Mortar Troopers, with red stripes instead of yellow ones, and they utilized a D-72W oppressor flame projector with a backpack. They were subjugated to intense fire training and were deadly for burning their enemies alive or by destroying their encampments. Night Troopers were the final remaining Stormtroopers who served Grand Admiral Thrawn still in 9 ABY when he was sent to the extra-galactic planet Peridia aboard the Star Destroyer Chimera, and they served under the Grand Captain of the Guard, Enoch. They had weathered armor which had cracks and breakages filled with gold and silver, as well as bands of red cloth tied around them to look cool. Okay, I made the last part up, but seriously, why would they need to put these bands on? Is it just to look mysterious? I don't know. They also used E11 blasters and had TIE pilots with red stripes on their helmets, as well as at least 2 Death Troopers with augmented armor. When these soldiers fell in battle, they would be awakened in an undead form by the chant of resurrection from the Great Mothers, but could be knocked down again with dismembering lightsaber strikes. Captain Enoch had damaged armor lined with gold, similar to the other Night Troopers, with gold and silver lining. Also, he possessed a burgundy body glove and crimson gloves. His faceplate was made of gold and had a humanoid appearance which was hammered into it. Patrol Troopers were the urban equivalent of the Scout Troopers and were used to cover the dense, sprawling cities of Imperial planets aboard their CPH patrol speeder bikes. They had no armor on their legs for swifter movements and were more or less a police force. They used EC-17 holdout blasters, the same weapons used by the Scout Troopers, and had an enlarged helmet's dome to give them enhanced imaging electronics. Through their helmet feeds, they also got real-time traffic data, construction, and other possible obstacles that could be on their routes throughout the city. The Purge Troopers worked alongside the Inquisitors to hunt down the few remaining Jedi of the galaxy. Most galactic citizens were unaware that they even existed in the first place, and they were the last clones used from Jango Fett's DNA template before they were phased out by conscripted individuals. The early Purge Trooper armor was the same black Phase 2 armor used by the Empire's elite squad troopers, but with green visors and a darker black stripe down the middle of the helmet and limb armor. Phase 1 Purge Trooper armor looked like clone paratrooper armor but with black and red coloration. The Phase 2 Purge Trooper armor was more similar to that of Stormtroopers and was less bulky, but with the same color scheme as before.
In the description of this video, you will find a link to DBBH Store. If you wish to support the Republic, you should check out the new fall merch drop. Not only are there new sweatpants and sweaters with the messages of deleted scene and Dooku head,
But there's also some fire Anakin streetwear too. Wait, are those younglings over there?
TK Troopers were a transition point in between the clone troopers of the Republic and early Empire into the standard Imperial Stormtrooper armor. They came from the first wave of naturally born human recruits and had different visors and helmets. That was part of their prototype armor based off of the cancelled Phase 3 clone armor, and also used DC-15A blaster carbines like the clones before them. They were trained by clone commandos, making them more knowledgeable in combat than later Stormtroopers, and had the variants of TK Shock Troopers with red armor and pauldrons, as well as the TK Mud Trooper, who would wear ponchos and protective goggles. But anyway, that's it for this video. You can subscribe if you want to. Also consider checking out the new merch drop for the brand new fall merch that just came out last week with some very cool Anakin street wear. Please leave a comment down below if you have any questions about this video, or have any video suggestions, or just want to let me know how your week's been going. I upload normal videos every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I also post shorts every single day. But yeah, see ya.